All right, thanks, guys. Happy Friday morning to you. We're currently 2-0 in our last two Underdog tier membership plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And the good news is this: we have another Underdog tier package play that's going off today. And for those who don't know, my Patreon page is a website that I operate that gives you daily premium sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. Now, we'll go ahead and talk about that in just a little bit, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at some Nicaraguan Liga Primera soccer action for Saturday. And we're going to go ahead and dive into this Chinandega matchup squaring off against Deportivo Ocotal, and that's going to be a 5 p.m. Eastern start time. Matter of fact, all of Saturday's Liga Primera action starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But anyway, Ocotal's the $1.35 favorite, totals at 3 flat, draws paying $2.90. And if you like Chinandega in an upset, they're currently plus 275 on the money line. Now, several markets do have some goal line action on this. Matter of fact, Chinandega's plus $1 catching the half goal. Meanwhile, Ocotal's minus 130, laying the half goal on the goal line themselves. And speaking of Ocotal, they're currently in second to last place in Liga Primera, just 3-10 on the season with 4 ties. They currently sit at just 13 points in the division and find themselves 26 points behind first place Managua FC. Now, Ocotal's been victorious in just 1 out of their last 8 contests. Just 6 total goals they've scored in their last 9 as well. They've lost to the likes of Walter Ferretti, Jalapa, and Real Madrid during that span of games. Meanwhile, Chinandega on the other side, their last 2 victories came by way of shutout against Jalapa and Juventus. They actually racked up 4 total goals against Juventus in that blowout matchup. Chinandega is also 5 points ahead of Ocotal in the division standings. Now, total-wise, just 1 out of Chinandega's last 4 matches got over the total of 3 goals. Matter of fact, just 3 out of their last 9 got over that total of 3 goals as well. Now, Ocotal on the other side, well, they haven't had any of their last 9 games get over that total of 3 goals themselves. Looks like a pretty nice spot for underbettors here. Give me Chinandega minus 165 and the under 3 goals in that spot there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's Nicaraguan Liga Primera soccer action. Happy Saturday to you. Happy Friday to you. I'm actually recording this on Friday morning, but anyway, happy weekend to you. Hopefully you're having a good weekend thus far. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we're 2-0 in our last 2 Underdog tier membership plays on that website. We're also 19-10 in our last 29 crowd pleaser teasers as well. Very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website, beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently, we have well over 675 members currently signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks where they can get them here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that's on the board, both side and total. And the problem is this: if you were to bet every single game that's on the board that I put out here on YouTube, side and total, well, you're almost guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that that sounds very weird of me to say. I know that sounds very bizarre, but you got to hear me. You got to hear me out real quick. If you're going to bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to be able, to absorb that kind of action. And most important, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game that is on the slate side in total. And, the good news is this. If you want to go ahead and check out my current Patreon record, you can actually do that for free right now. That record is located directly on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. I'll also include a link in the comment section below as well. And that, once again, is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Las Sabanas taking on Juventus Managua, 5 p.m. start time. Sabanas are the plus money favorite in this one at plus $1.40 with the total at 2.5. Currently, Juventus is plus 160 on the money line. That could potentially flip by game time. And at the moment, the draw is currently paying plus 245. Now, if you want to go ahead and play the goal line in this one, you're not going to catch any points, but Managua's minus 105 on the goal line. Sabanas is minus $1.25, same bet. And basically, for those who don't bet soccer much, the goal line eliminates the draw from your wagering, as a bet on the sides will end in a loss if the game ends in a tie. So basically, it's basically like betting the spread with the ability to push in case of a tie in the matchup if you're betting the sides, instead of losing the bet outright due to a draw. But anyway, if you're leaning towards Sabanas in this matchup here, they're coming off their second straight shutout loss. Freddie and FC were the culprits. Sabanas has been victorious in just 1 out of their last 9 games and find themselves back in the cellar in Liga Primera with just 11 points on the season. They're just 2-10 with 5 draws thus far and failed to score a goal in their last 3 games. Even more disparaging, Sabanas has scored a total of just 5 goals in their last 9 matches as well. They've given up 30 total goals on the season. They've only scored 10. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're looking at a Juventus squad who's actually doubled that count on the season with 20 total goals themselves. They're currently 6 points ahead of Sabanas and have lost just 1 out of their last 4. They've actually garnered themselves marquee wins against the likes of Real Madrid and, more impressively, Diriangin within their last 4. That was a great win against Diriangin. They also destroyed Las Sabanas in their last meeting, 5-0. Now, total-wise, Juventus' last 3 matches all stayed under 2.5 total goals. Meanwhile, Sabanas, on the other side, saw 7 out of their last 8 stay under the 2.5 themselves. Looks like another pretty good spot for underbettors here. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the underdog, Juventus Managua, plus 160, getting the job done for some money line cash, and the under 2.5 in that contest. Next matchup, it is going to be Diriangin squaring off against Real Madrid's 5 o'clock Eastern start time. Diriangin's the heavy $3.05 favorite, totals 2.5, draws plus 360. And if you'd like Madrid's to pull off a huge upset here, they're currently plus $7 for some money line cash. And speaking of Madrid's, they've really struggled to put the ball in the net this season. Just 14 total goals in 16 games played, basically averaging less than a goal a game. Madrid was victorious in just 1 out of their last 5 games, while failing to score a goal in 3 of those contests. Furthermore, Madrid has been victorious in just 3 out of their last 9 as well. They're just 5-9 on the season with 2 draws. They're currently 22 points behind first place Managua FC in the division. Now, Diriangin on the other side, clearly one of the elite teams in Liga Primera, second place in the division, 32 total points on the year, 9-3 with 5 draws. They're currently tied with Real Estelí for that second place spot. Both teams only 7 points back of Managua FC for the top spot. Now, Diriangin's held their opponents to just 10 goals on the season, which currently ranks first in Liga Primera in that category. They've lost just 2 out of their last 9 contests and have pitched 3 straight shutouts in their last trio of matches as well. Now, even more impressive, Diriangin shut out their opponent in 5 out of their last 9. Now, total-wise, Diriangin's last 2 contests stayed under 2.5 total goals. 3 out of Madrid's last 4 stayed under the 2.5 themselves. 6 out of their last 9 also stayed under that number as well. I'm going to lean toward the favorite in this contest here. Pretty tight spot, but I think I can get it done. Give me Diriangin -1, getting the job done on the goal line, and the under 2.5 in that spot there. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Art Municipal Jalapa facing off against Real Esteli in a 5 p.m. Eastern showdown. Esteli's the $1.85 favorite, totals 2.5, draws paying plus 280. And if you like Jalapa in an upset, they're currently plus 425 for an outright win. And if you like Jalapa keeping it close, they're plus $1, catching 1 point on the goal line. And speaking of Jalapa, they've really struggled as of late after a very solid start to the season. Kind of a skid here as of late. They're winless in their last 4, while also winning just 3 out of their last 9. Now, Jalapa's really struggled to put the pelota in the goal lately. Just 1 goal in their last 4 straight matches. They've also scored just 16 goals on the season and just 7 goals in their last 9. Jalapa's suffered tough losses to the likes of Chinandega, Real Madrid, and Real Esteli within their last handful of matches. Matter of fact, they were shut out by Real Esteli in their last head-to-head meeting, 2-0. Overall, Jalapa's just 6-6 on the season with 5 draws. They're currently 9 points behind Esteli for that second place spot in the division. And speaking of second place, Real Esteli is currently in a dogfight with Diriangin for that second place spot in Clausura. They're 9-3 overall with 5 ties and 32 total points. They're just 7 points behind first place Managua FC in Liga Primera. Esteli scored 27 total goals on the year, while also holding their opponents to just 10 total goals on the season, which ranks first in Liga Primera in that category. Esteli's lost just 1 out of their last 9 matchups and pitched shutouts in 5 out of those 9. Final thing to add about Esteli, they've garnered themselves marquee wins over the likes of Chinandega, Madrid, and Ocotal within their last handful of contests. Now, total-wise, Esteli's really put down the clamps defensively this year. Just 1 out of their last 6 matches actually got over 2.5 goals. Meanwhile, Jalapa on the other side saw just 2 out of their last 9 actually get over the 2.5 themselves. Looks like another really nice spot for underbettors in my opinion. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean Real Esteli -1, getting the job done on the goal line, and the under 2.5 in that contest. And with that, I'm going to slide to my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be first place Managua FC taking on Deportivo Walter Ferretti, 5 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, FC is just -110 on the money line. Pretty short shot there. Totals 2.5, draws plus 245. And if you like Ferretti an upset, pretty short shot here as well at plus 225. Now, Ferretti's also laying $1.20, catching the half goal on the goal line. FC's minus $1.10, laying the half goal as well. And if you like FC in this contest here, pretty chalky lean for you there, as FC Managua has been the cream of the crop in Liga Primera this season. They're once again in first place in the division at 12-3 on the season with 3 draws and 39 total points. Now, these guys are just absolute scoring machines with 32 total goals scored on the season, which ranks first in Clausura. FC's a very impressive 7-0-2 in their last 9 straight, with shutouts in 4 of those contests. They've beaten the likes of Diriangin, Chinandega, and Juventus during that stretch. They also beat Walter Ferretti in their prior head-to-head matchup, 1-0, in a shutout victory. And speaking of Ferretti on the other side, they're currently 9 points behind FC in the division, and was shut out in 2 out of their last 4 losses. Now, Walter Ferretti suffered tough losses to the likes of Diriangin, Juventus, and Jalapa within their last handful of contests. And total-wise, 5 out of Ferretti's last 7 did get over the total of 2.5 goals. Ferretti also ranks second in Liga Primera in total goals scored at 31, and that's just 1 goal less than Managua FC in that category. Could potentially see fireworks in this one. Meanwhile, FC on the other side saw just 2 out of their last 3 get over the 2.5 themselves. So this should be a fun one. Definitely one of the more intriguing matchups on the card. Give me FC Managua minus the half goal, getting the job done for some goal line cash, and the over 2.5 in that contest. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Got to give a shout-out to Lucas Borgia, Dollar Bills, Buddy Sweetie, Victor Garcia, Chagas, Zymer Trax, Going Crazy. Also got to give a shout-out to Stephen Lewis, Bobby Schroeder, JDog327, and also got to give a shout out to Jesus Caracamunda, William Peterson, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Brandon Saunders. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Friday to you and happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.